Have you ever met someone in a networking event or been referred to someone or a business who was incredible at what they do? But when you go to their website later, you think, wait, is this the same business? Maybe their expertise blew you away in person, or the person who recommended them raved about their experience. But their website looks like it was built in 2004. Or maybe you've been that business owner yourself, where you know you're amazing at what you do, but your website just isn't telling that story. If you've been in business for more than 5 years, this episode is for you. And if you have been around for decades, you definitely need to listen today. I want to share some lessons from a recent website project that I did with a local business that's been around for 85 plus years. Their work was exceptional, their reputation was solid, but their website was actually working against them. By the end of today's episode, you will know exactly how to evaluate whether your website matches your expertise and the specific updates that matter most for established businesses and how to modernize without losing what makes you special. Welcome to Website Design Made Simple, the podcast for busy small business owners who want a high-performing website that converts and sells their offers, even while they're sleeping. Because you deserve to have a strategic and beautiful website that truly represents your brand and positions you as the expert that you are. I'm your host, Jenny B., web designer and creative director at Jenny B Designs, where we believe that your website is the one thing that makes you sales and builds your brand at the same time. Ready to say goodbye to a website that you're embarrassed to share? And hello to a money-making, personality-packed powerhouse? Let's head into today's episode. Hello, thank you for joining me again today. My name is Jenny B, and if we haven't already met, I own Jenny B Designs. We are a brand and web design studio, and I love helping small business owners just like you design beautiful and personality-packed websites that reflect who you are, what your business does, shares your expertise out in the world, and calls in those ideal clients and make you money. I have lots of resources on my website, jennybdesigns.com, and a whole catalog of 100 plus podcast episodes. If you haven't listened to them all, I highly recommend go back and listen. Some of the most highly listened to episodes have anything with the word conversion in them. So let's get into today's episode. We're going to talk about legacy businesses, and I find this is a fun business to work with when I'm working on a website design project. Why do legacy businesses have this website problem? It most likely, when you're established business, is because you've been focused on serving your clients for however long you've been doing it and not updating your website. When you're busy doing great work, your website gets neglected. It happens. And there's also this mentality that if it's not broken, don't fix it. Your business is successful. If you haven't updated your website in 10 years, so what? Your business is still doing well. Why change it? And of course, there's the fear of losing what works. You might be worried that updating the website will confuse existing clients. The thing is that technology moves faster than a business cycle. What looked modern even 3 years ago, sometimes now looks outdated. And there's a cost to having an outdated website. First impressions matter more now more than ever. Potential clients judge your quality within seconds. When someone lands on your website, there is all of this silent judgment taking place when they land there. And in my introduction, I talked about that disconnect when someone meets you in person or gets recommended your business by someone else who had raved about their experience with you. And then when they land on the website, they see something and they judge it within seconds. And if your website was built a while ago and it doesn't work on mobile phones or an iPad, you're losing leads. And if you have a competitor that has a more modern site, even if they have less experience, even if they're not as talented as you, they look more credible because they have a more modern site. And of course, when you have an older site, it often has poor search optimization. You are harder to find online. Google can't find you. These AI bots can't find you because it is an older website. Now, the client that I worked with had some specific challenges. The site was okay, but it was a little bit more difficult for visitors to navigate. They didn't quite know how to get where they were starting from to where they wanted them to go. And more importantly, it was harder for their team to update the website themselves. Every time they had a new project, it was really, really difficult to add new project details and new photos. This was important because it was a creative business, and every time they finished a project, it was important to them to show it on their website, but it was very hard for them to update it. It also didn't convey the luxury level of their services. The website was old and dated, and it didn't match the upscale look and feel that they had to their services of today. And of course, the mobile experience was a little bit difficult for potential clients who were browsing on their phone. Now, what we did with this client is we wanted to honor the legacy while embracing the modern. And how did we do it? For this, I'm interrupting this episode to ask you a question. Is your website working as hard as you are? You've invested in a website, but if visitors aren't becoming paying clients, something's missing. My website audit is a professional review where I will analyze your site and identify exactly what's blocking conversions. You'll get a prioritized action plan with specific changes to turn more browsers into buyers. So stop guessing what's wrong and get some clear answers. Book your website audit today. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode. Brand. We designed a new website that had a clean and sophisticated design, and it reflected the luxury market that they served. Understanding the market that they served and creating a website that aligned with that. They also were a design business, so potential clients wanted to actually find and browse their work, and we created an easy portfolio navigation system so that potential clients could see the portfolio that they had that was focused on kitchens or living rooms, and anything they wanted to see was easy to find. We also created some smart automation that streamlined the inquiry process for both sides, the potential clients, because they get information immediately as soon as they inquire, and of course the business, because they don't have to be doing this, sending information out by themselves. We've automated it and it just takes place in the background. And we worked on the messaging that connects. Their website messaging hadn't been worked on in a while, and this could ring true for you if you are a business that hasn't updated your website in quite a while. We wanted to make sure that the copy speaks to the emotions, not just to the services they offer, but how their daily lives can be enhanced when they work with this business. And this is done through trust signals, with testimonials, with years in business, with the portfolio quality and the types of project that we are showing. If you are an established business, you need trust signals. These could be in the forms of years of business that could be prominently displayed. Don't hide your expertise. If you've been doing this for 50 plus years, make sure that's shared. Whether it's a statement, whether it is a visual representation, maybe you have a tiny history chart sharing about some of the most important years in business if it's been 50 plus. Next would be testimonials with specific results, not just this business was great, but actually outcomes that your clients saw. Professional photography is also important. Your work quality, when someone lands on your website, needs to be obvious immediately. That work should be displayed and showed. And then, of course, your team credentials and certifications, showing your expertise right on that about page. And even on the home page, if you have a small little blurb about you and your team, showing that right front and center. There also needs to be a modern functionality expectations. This is what people expect when they come to your website. Mobile first design. Most people are browsing on their phones, especially if you are working with a business to consumer model. People are on their phones, and it needs to be a good mobile experience with fast loading times, because slow sites lose potential clients in seconds. There needs to be an easy way to contact you on that contact page, and not just the contact form, multiple ways to reach you. That you have an email address, or if you have a phone number, that they are both listed on the contact page. And of course, social proof integration. Those reviews, those testimonials, if you've received any awards, any media mentions, any clients that you've worked with that are well-known clients that you can put their logos on your website. And it's a goal to balance legacy with innovation. What do I mean by that? Keeping what makes you unique. Your personality and values shouldn't change. But what should change is how you present it with better organization, clear navigation, clear messaging, and modern design. When they all work together, that is balancing the legacy, what you've always been, with innovation, having something designed that represents today, that modernization. And those helpful features, making it easy for clients to work with you. If the first step of your process is to have that discovery call, make it easy to schedule it. Maybe it's right there. Maybe they fill out the form and they're taken to your calendar. Removing that friction from the client and journey and making sure that you have a good user experience. Now, how do you evaluate your current website? Questions to ask yourself. Does your website immediately communicate what you do and how long you've been doing it? And I think that's important for legacy businesses because you have been around so long. That is just built-in credibility. Does your website immediately communicate that? And there are beautiful, simple, delicate ways to do this versus writing a whole paragraph about your history from 1900 to today. Just doing it in little blurbs. Maybe there is a call out where you're pulling out in you're serving clients for 50 plus years, or how many clients you've served, or maybe there's a visual graphic, things like that. Can someone, when they come to your website, find examples of your work or the results you've achieved and easily find them? Making sure that you have updated portfolios or case studies on your website. Is it easy to contact you? Super simple on how to take the next step with you. And does the design quality of your website match the quality of your actual work? And that's a great question to think about because I know I've worked with some amazing service providers, especially in the home trades. But when I go to their website, it doesn't match the quality of work. Would you be proud to send a potential client to your website right now? And that's a great question. Or are you embarrassed? Does it not reflect who you are and what your business is? Some signs that you might need an update is that your site compared to your competitors looks dated. It could be hard to update with new content or photos like my client was. And that most traffic for your website comes from referrals and not website visits. Perhaps potential clients mention they had trouble finding information on your website. When they get on that call with you, maybe they're asking you more questions than they actually need. It's because your website might not be addressing this information. And if someone asks you out and about in the wild for your website, you send them to your social media or you make an excuse and say, just reach out, just email me here. That could be a sign. What modern client expects is that you have a professional appearance that builds trust, that your website is easy to navigate on their mobile devices and has clear information about not only your services, but about your pricing, the investment as well. And of course, examples of your work and client results. We all are looking for that social proof with a simple way to get in touch or schedule a consultation. Here are some actionable steps you can take this week on your website. Think about 2 to 3 competitors, look at their website, and then look at yours and be honest about first impressions. What are you thinking? Look at your Google reviews and your testimonials. Are they featured on your website? Do you have new ones there? And are they prominently featured? And then look at your website on your phone. Is it easy to use? Can you find everything quickly? Some quick wins that you can do that will make a big difference. Add your years in business to your homepage. It's important. People want to know. Add it on that homepage. Look at your About page. Are there any recent accomplishments that have happened, in the last 10 years since you last updated your website? Can you add something on that page? And think about recent projects or client success stories. Perhaps create a case study or create a new portfolio page for a recent project. These are some quick things that you can do on your website to make it a little bit more current. And when should you consider working with a professional like myself? If the technology feels overwhelming, If you are looking for some strategic guidance on the messaging and how you are representing your business online, or maybe you are in that camp where business is good and you've had your website for so long and you just don't want to make a change. You don't want to risk changing anything. This is when a professional is good to consult with because we can understand that and know where you're coming from and share ways that you can create an online space that is going to work even better for you and get the word out about your amazing service and the amazing legacy of your business in a better, more professional way that will create even more work for you and attract more higher level clients. So some key takeaways from this whole episode. Your expertise, the expert that you are, it deserves a website that reflects it. Don't let an outdated website undermine decades of great work. Your legacy is a strength, it is not a limitation, and use that history and experience as a competitive advantage. And when I say modern, it doesn't mean abandoning your identity. You can update your functionality while still keeping your personality. Small improvements can make a difference, and you don't need to start from scratch to see results. Just take some small steps. So if you have been putting off updating your website because you are worried about losing what makes you special, remember, it's not the goal to change who you are. It is to share who you are more effectively. These years of experience, these satisfied clients, your expertise, these are your superpowers. Make sure your website is showing them off. And if you think that your website isn't doing your superpower justice, then I would love to have a chat with you. We can talk about how I might be able to help you take your legacy brand into the next level. So thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you next time. And that wraps up another episode of Website Design Made Simple. I hope you found the insights shared in this episode valuable and takes you one step closer to creating a website that attracts more of your ideal clients and builds your brand. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave a review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify. Your review will help us reach more small business owners like you who are ready to make more money with their website. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.